yeah, if we don't have feed on the ground, we're not going to be able to come back there and utilise it. We're on Kia Ora station, which is located 72 k's southwest of Cobar. It's 17,800 hectares, and I'm just leaning on some of the TGB fencing that we've done over the time we've been here. It's about 150 k's of hinge joint, and there's about 80 odd k's of multi-wire electric fencing on the property at this stage, and probably a bit more to do. When we arrived here in 2002, there was only probably roughly 8,000 acres behind hinge joint TGB fencing. We've since then done the full boundary to ease the grazing pressure from goats and other animals that were coming in onto the place grazing us out, and we just weren't utilising that country. And since then we've just started subdividing those paddocks up further for more ease of grazing pressure for electric fencing. Total grazing pressure is removing all stock, or trying to remove all the stock out of a paddock so that it gets total rest, to give the pastures and the native grasses a chance to respond back to full potential and set seed. It's our domestic stock we've got to move out, but it's also the feral animals we've got to move out, plus the native animals. Like the total grazing pressure of goats, we trap them and move them out. We virtually sell them, so unless they're underweights or a bit small, they'll go into paddocks where we can handle them and move them around until they're up to the saleable weight or economical to move on. We've just noticed the feed in paddocks that we never thought we had grasses or anything in before have responded really well. It's been pretty hard the last 12 months to handle the kangaroos, because we usually have professional shooters that come in and take what they need for the markets, but there's no market for kangaroos at the moment, so I can't really handle them real well at the moment, other than shutting the waters down and hopefully they move to another area. I'm not overly concerned about rabbits at the moment. I do a bit of ripping where I need to. We find them as a bit of a tool on woody weed. They do eat a lot of small woody weed. If you notice where most rabbit burrows are, there's not any woody weed. And also they supply some food for foxes and wedge-tails, so they're not attacking our lambs that we're trying to make our living out of. Pigs, I've got a professional hunter that comes up here too. They do it all humanely. Probably over the last 12 months we've taken off probably 700 pigs off here professionally, but there's no market once again, so it's just let lie. That market's dried up in Germany and that at the moment. And we trap them, we use trapping, and have done a little bit of baiting. Our grazing pressure of our cattle and sheep, we move them around, like when we think the pasture they're on is down to a certain stage. The grass, we get it down to probably 2 or 3 inches in your grass butts off the ground. It's when they start getting into that butt of the grass pretty heavily, there's probably well and truly time to move them on. Because if you knock that butt of the grass too low to the ground, it takes longer for it to respond back to edible feed. So, because it hasn't got enough leaf area to take the light in and grow. We just move them to the next paddock that's been rested for probably 6 or 7 months. And then we just monitor it and just keep moving around. It's just not for our bottom dollar, it's for the environment. Since we've been doing this total grazing pressure, we've noticed like just the bird life, the insects, the lizards, everything's been benefiting out of it well and truly. In the clearing times, I've seen more wildlife out in the open areas than what I do when I'm chaining some of the scrub and cleaning it up. There's just nothing in there. And then where you find the kangaroos, they're all out in the open country where it's sweeter. So yeah, we've noticed a big difference in wildlife. And the soil health is coming back, and we're just getting a real good ground cover, as you can see behind us at the moment. I think it's another tool, hopefully, to manage the woody weed too. Yeah, if we don't have feed on the ground, we're not going to be able to come back there and utilise it. So by moving stock out of total grazing pressure into another paddock or another section of the property, that place gets a rest and comes back and responds a lot better.